Hey guys, it's Roscoe on the Space Couch. Today I'm going to be reviewing this, James S. A. Corey's Caliban's War. This is part 2 of the Expanse series, which we reviewed earlier with Leviathan Wakes. So basically what's happening, Earth, Mars and the Belt, they're all still at each other's throats following the events of the first book. There's a few new viewpoint characters that have been added into this volume. The first one of these is Bobbi Draper. She is a Martian Marine, Polynesian descent, so she's huge. She's the sole survivor of her platoon, which was on Ganymede and was attacked and slaughtered by a super soldier, shall we say, of which very disturbing what that super soldier is and what it could lead to. Another viewpoint character is a lady called Christian Sarala. Now, she's an Earth politician. You know, old school, behind the scenes, everything gets done like that without anybody even knowing about it. Interesting character. In the TV show, she's actually going to be played by Shohreh Aghdashloo, with that wonderful, smoky, rich voice that she has. Now, you'll have seen her previously in 24, Grimm, Flash Forward, and a few films like House of Sand and Fog, House of Saddam, and some Iranian cinema also. I can't wait to see her in action because she'll really give that character teeth. The other main character that's been introduced this time is a guy called Prax, short for Praxidike, I think it is. And he's a crop scientist on Ganymede, the moon of Jupiter. Now, in the Expanse universe 200 years from now, Ganymede is the breadbasket of the solar system. You know, it's got that magnetic field that protects it from Jupiter's radiation. So there's lots of agricultural colonies there, growing food for the belt, all the people on Earth and everywhere else, you know. So also, because of that magnetic field, it's where the belters go to conceive and give birth. Obviously, the magnetic field protects you from radiation that you would get not just off-planet, but spread across the solar system. So Ganymede is a very important world in this place, in this universe. But unfortunately, it's currently under blockade. Mars, the Earth and the Belt are all blockading each other. And off-world colonies, they tend to run right on the edge of a catastrophe curve. You know, if any systems start failing, colony collapse will follow quite soon. And that's what's happening at this stage in the series. The various orbital mirrors that was giving sunlight to like the domes that grow all the crops and everything are being destroyed, crashed onto the planet, and it's a hellhole. They're exporting all their food to everyone else, leaving none for themselves. So it's very nasty. Well, you know what happens when societies collapse. We've seen it so many times, whether it's Eastern Europe or some of the African states or wherever. It's very unpleasant. So basically, in the midst of all this come Jim Holden and the crew of the Rocinante. They're essentially just on what should just be like a milk run to Ganymede. Pick up some supplies, in, out, no trouble. Obviously, Jim Holden. So what happens, they get to Ganymede. After a few adventures, they meet up with Prax. His daughter has actually been kidnapped. She's got a very rare genetic disease, and a bunch of other kids with this same sort of symptoms have also been kidnapped. You know, and like parent looking for their child. I mean, how can the Rosse crew turn them down? So they all link up. Unfortunately, they have some run-ins with more of these super soldiers, and Jim Holden realises that these super soldiers are actually it's the Proto Molecule from the first book, which has been in the background this whole time, but I'll get onto that later. Essentially, someone's trying to weaponise, again, the Proto Molecule. Like they didn't learn the first time? Apparently not. So anyway, they run across these super soldiers and they flee Ganymede after various things happen. They end up meeting up with Bobbi Draper and Sarala, who essentially, they're trying to find out what's going on with these super soldiers and try and stop all-out war from happening, as opposed to all these constant skirmishes. However, the corporations behind the Proto Molecule and their government lackeys, they don't want them doing this, so essentially they're trying to have them killed. So they're on this ship that's fleeing an armada of Earth and Mars ships, I think, if I recall correctly, who are going to just destroy it to stop them from saying anything. You know, the usual sort of thing that Jim Holden and his crew usually face. So anyway, they all meet up together and they're all working together to find out what's going on. So, after many adventures, and trust me, you might think I've gone into quite a lot of detail, this is the bare bones of the plot. Conspiracies are unmasked, perpetrators face justice, and all's hunky-dory. Other than the fact Jim Holden and the Rossi crew, they've got a few more enemies, you know, that list just keeps on growing. But they've got a few friends as well now, like Prax and Bobbi and Ava Sarala, and that's a very good one to have up your sleeve. A Martian Marine who's tough as nails, and an Earth politician who can, let's see, she can order a fleet to destroy you or to help you, like that, her choice. So anyway, that's what's happening, but then, throughout the course of the book, there's the Proto Molecule, it rears its very ugly head from time to time, but it's in the background. So there'll be a report that, oh, there's structures 2 kilometres high on the surface of Venus. Now, Venus in the future is like Venus now, it's a hellhole. No terraforming, no one lives there. No bases, no nothing. So the next report they get is even more worrying, that a giant hexagonal structure is covering the entire planet. I imagine this is kind of like a honeycomb. I can't remember how big they are, something like it's 50 or 100 kilometres each, these honeycombs, I don't recall. And also, one of the ships that's in orbit monitoring all of this is suddenly totally disassembled. So there, you're in your spaceship, then suddenly every single part of that spaceship has been detached from the other part. You know, like those exploded engineering diagrams? Kind of like that, except for the people, of course, who their ship just disintegrates all around them. Not good. Obviously, they die instantly. So anyway, it kind of goes on like this, you know, and you know, what is that Proto Molecule actually doing on Venus? And then at the end of the book, we find out what it's been doing, what it came here all those billions of years ago to do. It's built some kind of, in the book, it's very unclear. I can't quite visualise it. It almost sounds like some giant octopus insect-like structure rises off of the planet, you know, dragging half its atmosphere with it, sending everything else that's in orbit around Venus just scattered to the winds, the solar winds, I suppose, and heading off to destinations who knows where. That will all be revealed in the 3rd book, Abaddon's Gate, which you will be hearing about very soon, just as soon as I finish the review. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed my review of Caliban's War. As always, you know the rest.